This is a stack of ancient palm leaf manuscripts containing the Sree Krishna Vilasam, a celebrated Sanskrit epic poem. In the 12th chapter, the text ends mid-sentence. The poetry stops exactly on the words Pashya Priye, Konkana. This work was held in such high regard that centuries later, the poet Kalidasa attempted to write a conclusion to that final unfinished line. Legend says he was stopped by a voice from the heavens, which warned that trying to match the original author's skill was like trying to tie cheap banana fiber to a thread of pure silk. To understand why the author, Prabhakaran, was forced into silence, we have to look at the physical event as he dictated these final words. Years before he wrote the epic, Prabhakaran was a student who had already mastered the Vedas, logic, and literature, surpassing all his peers. Despite his ability, his daily life was defined by violence. While other students were given repeated explanations, Prabhakaran was met with constant verbal abuse and physical beatings from his teacher. Unknown to the boy, this treatment was driven by the guru's secret devotion to him, a bond where the teacher valued the student more than his own son. The guru feared if Prabhakaran recognized his talent, he would become arrogant and stop learning. The harshness was a calculated attempt to keep the boy focused on his studies. This strategy eventually backfired, driving the student to plot an act of violence that would change both of their lives. The tension peaked when a beating left Prabhakaran bleeding, unable to bear the pain any longer. He climbed into the rafters of his teacher's house with a heavy stone, planning to drop it and kill the guru once the man fell asleep. While waiting in the dark, Prabhakaran heard the guru tell his wife he was too heartbroken to eat. The teacher wept, confessing that he only struck the boy out of a desperate hope for his success. Prabhakaran descended from the attic and fell at his teacher's feet in tears. Though the guru forgave him instantly, the boy insisted on a formal prayashtita, an ancient ritual of atonement, for the sin of plotting a murder. Hearing his teacher's confession destroyed Prabhakaran's resolve in a way physical abuse never could, leaving him committed to a lethal path of self-punishment. The Brahmin Sabha, an assembly that acted as the final judges of ethical law, took up the case. They ruled that the only way to atone for the intent to kill a teacher was death by umithi, being slowly burned alive inside a pile of smoldering rice husks. This sentence reflects a culture where even a private thought of betrayal carried a total physical cost. Prabhakaran walked into the pyre and buried his body in the smoldering husks. As the heat rose, he began to loudly compose and dictate the Sree Krishna Vilasam, using the poetry to occupy his mind during the execution. He continued to speak as the fire consumed him, dictating through 12 chapters of the epic. He eventually reached a line describing the coast. Pashya Priye, Konkana. Look, my beloved, at the Konkan. At that exact syllable, the fire reached his throat and destroyed his vocal cords. He died before he could finish the sentence. The Sree Krishna Vilasam is the literal transcript of a man composing as he burned. After Prabhakaran's death, Kalidasa abandoned his attempt to finish the poem. Instead, he focused on this mountain peak, writing his own epic about the Himalayas, a masterpiece created because he could not hope to follow the one silenced by the fire.